What's up, everyone? Been a while. I know it's been a while, but new live arena is been launched, and I know I haven't created a lot of content for you all in the last little while. Been super busy, super swamped, and quite frankly, the game hasn't really been that exciting. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of updates, but I'm sure you've got a lot of the updates from the other content creators. At this point, I was one of the lucky few to get into the live arena beta, and here we are. So we only have one more time today to do live arena. I figured I already gave it a try. I did get a reset from this morning. So when you do 5 arena battles, you get one 5 arena battle reset, which means even if it's open 4 or 5 times in a day, as long as you do your 10 fights, that's all you can do. At least at this point, that's what it looks like. So I did win 3 out of my 5 matches. Got unlucky on my last one. Took a little too long, but it is what it is. So let's go through it and just kind of showcase what it's all about. Some tips and tricks, things I've learned along the way in order to kind of do better at 3v3. So what we're going to do is, so this is a loading screen. We're just going to go find our first opponent here. Everyone at this point is learning. It's going to be interesting, but this is where strategy comes in. So either you pick first or they pick first, and the first person gets to pick one champion. The one champion that you choose, they're probably going to counter those champions because they don't know who you're going to pick next. So most people start with support, but I'm going to start with a damage dealer because I only get one. And what I like to see is how are they going to counter my damage dealer if they're going to counter. So in this case, you might put out an Arbiter or a Duchess, someone with a speed lead, because that's who you want to go first. You don't have to. If I picked an Arbiter to go first, I would counter with an Arbiter. So in this case, they got one damage dealer and one support. I don't know what they're going to pick next. So now my next 2 choices will be providing that support and probably someone that they might X out. I might go with let's go with a second damage dealer. So at least they know who my 2 damage dealers are. They can choose one of the 2 to get rid of. So you are picking 6 champions, and then they can actually remove one of my champions. So never go in with just one damage dealer. So in this case, they got 2 damage dealers here. If you go in with one damage dealer, that's the one I'm Xing out. It doesn't matter what the support is. I'm Xing out the damage dealers, and you don't get to go in. At this point, what we're going to do is I can easily counter with either of those 2 damage dealers. So I'm going to bring my Sifi in. And at this point, I'm going to bring in someone that can clear debuffs. And in this case, either a Ramantu, you can do... I've been going in with Uko. Uko's great as well with the block, the burning of the buffs, as well as a backup reviver as well. And then they're bringing in a big hitting Mithrala. So at this point, I'm going to remove one of the 2 champions. Probably him because he's annoying and he can block revive. They got rid of him, Rotos. And now I'm going to pick my lead. And we're going to get started. So this is the intro phase of it. They're going in with a lead defense aura. This is going to be interesting. So we do have a couple here. So everyone gets a turn. So you do go based on still the turn meter. Because my champions were faster, I get to go. And what we're going to do is try to get rid of these 2. We're going to sleep the Mithrala, probably get the revive out, but then we're just going to go ahead and clear them. So here they go. They finally get a turn. There's the revive. I get to go. The good thing about this, the one thing I like is you choose what you do, right? You don't have to worry about AI. You don't set no AI. You're able to easily. I'm just a little bit worried of this big nuke coming in, but let's see what we can do. You set the AI. You figure out what you want to do, how you want it to run, what the case is. I think this is pretty cool, and this mode, but it is strategy based. So there you go. That was my big worry here. I just timing wise was not ready for it. It is what it is. But I like to put in that Shalad because 9 times out of 10 so far, I've put in that Shalad and they've X'd it out. And therefore, I get to go in with this Roto Sifi combo. In this case, they were smart and pulled my Rotos because of, well, you could see right there, then and there. The other alternative is to go in with my Leo and counter their Leo, but we took a different approach. So again, they're opening with Arbiter, Sheep, probably a little bit quick. I'm going to do the same and open with my other support. So they're not going to see yet my DDs. This is where I'm going to get a little glimpse into what else they might choose. The hard part about this, it does take a while. They have up to a minute to choose who they want. So I'm not too worried about that Shalad. I actually might counter with mine just to show off and my other DD. So let's see who they decide to counter with. Now, you got to be worried with Shalad because if that Arbiter is quicker than me, that Shalad is going to be putting out the fear before me. We also have bombs that we have to worry about, and Uko who's going to clear buffs. So what I'm going to do is either bring in him or a Mithrala. Let's go with the buff clear. In this case, I'm actually going to get rid of their speed champ to make sure I go first. I can deal with these two. Gaius is probably going to be in Stone Skin, which is going to be tricky. They got rid of my Sifi, so I don't have a block debuffs, but I should be able to go first with my Arbiter, and let's see what happens. And so sometimes this is tricky, right? If they don't pull one of my two damage dealers, I'm going to be going in with 2 damage dealers, and it's not going to be that beneficial, especially with Rotos, who does bring in the automatic cleanse when paired with Sifi. Right here, we just blocked Shalad, and I got Sheeped, which is not going to be good. I probably am going to die on this run. So she's going to cleanse. I get to go. You know what? Let's try to drop some turn meter. So Shalad's going to go. Probably fear me all. And nuke me dead, right? No. Okay, I got to get lucky. Through the fear? Yes. I got another fear. Okay, we got another fear here. That one got me. I'm probably going to die, so let's boost some turn meter here. All right. So bad strategy at this point, but you get the idea. So you really need, the cool thing is, and he's going to put the bombs out and match will be over. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. you really need to bring in champions that you're able to support yourselves. Should there be an opportunity here, like a Shalad with a team like this, probably wouldn't have been my first choice. I would have brought in someone else. Should have brought in a cleanser. But, you know, I don't know why they take so long when you know they're going to win. Because we're in beta, it doesn't really matter. We're all testing at this point. So this is definitely the learning phase. I just wanted to do this video for you all just to see how it works, get some idea on strategy, not necessarily showing you all the wins, right? This is why we're doing what we're doing. For those of you that don't have access to this beta, this is going to be new to you when it's live. So you're better off to, learn from what we do here. And again, so I get to go first and I'm picking one champion. They're going to counter, they can decide what they want to do, and who I decide to bring in. So in this case, I'm going to go with an Arbiter to start. Let's get the supports out of the way, because then they're going to choose 2 and 2. So I'm going to see 4 champions before I get to decide what my last damage dealer is going to be. Now, you could do, like I said earlier, different things. So you could start with your 1 support. You can pick your counter supports. You could, if the other team starts with a support, you can pick your damage dealers right away. In this case, 2 damage dealers. 1 I'm not really worried about. But what else are they going to put? Probably an Arbiter or someone with increased attack, because otherwise Genbo's useless. So this is where knowing the champions are going to come in handy. I'm going to bring in Sifi, and I'm going to throw my first damage dealer in there. He does ignore counter. Actually, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put in 2 supports at this point. I figured if I can get the Hex out, they go ahead and attack me. They're going to hopefully be petrified and save my team, at which point I don't really need a buff stripper unless they bring in someone with block, which could be a Duchess, could be a Sifi. Okay. So I don't know who I fought here, but I am not worried whatsoever. Who are we going to pick here? Let's get my 2 damage dealers and see who he picks. It's going to be an easy fight. Block champions. I'm going to block. I'll block their damage dealer. And he blocked my lead. So my lead is going to be Mithrala. And he picked accuracy as his lead instead of speed. Okay. So we're going to go first. Boost our speed. Get the Hex out. Get the nuke out. And game over. I don't know what the dude was thinking. So as you get points, so I just got my first 5 points, you do get to come up here to get these milestone rewards. It does look like they're cumulative. So as you get up to milestone 10, 4,000 points, you can actually pull this champion, which is Quintus. Let's do our, what is this? We got 2 more fights left. Let's see how they go. You get 5 points per win. And so far, you don't lose points per loss. So this is 4,000 cumulative points, which is great. I don't know if at live, if they will start to decrease or at a certain threshold. To be honest, I didn't watch the live arena video. I figured, you know what, when it comes out, I'll figure it out. I've yet to go back to watch it. It's just not a video that I've cared to go back to. What we're going to do, so we have a cleanser here. We also have a block debuffer. So I'm going to bring in someone who can strip buffs with the support. So let's see who he decides to pick with damage, because that will depend. Okay, so I'm most likely going to be pulling this dude. This one will kill Skull Crown. I'm going to be pulling Warlord as my champ, but that means I'm not going to be fast. So they will go first. But I do need another damage dealer. So what I might do... You know what? We'll do that. I should have scare them enough to pull that Shalad and keep my Rotos. Okay. Nothing worse than being stripped and then they got rid of my speed lead. So they are for sure going first with a big nuke. Probably going to get wiped in one shot. But that Warlord with a 6-star Warlord, when all your skills are on cooldown, not very good. So let's go. Yeah. Counter attack, or ally attack rather. Let's go. This is the worst part. Like, why does it take so long? Okay, so I get to jump in there. I'm just going to clear this one. And of course, they're going to nuke me. That Stone Skin was there. So there's kind of strategies of when you don't get to pick first, you pick your last champ. I thought they would have gotten rid of that damage dealer, but they knew who that Heferak was coming in, and I didn't really have a chance at that point. So you win some, you lose some, is the way I see it. You also look at, I think we faced that clan for CVC at one point. Actually, this time, let's bring my damage dealer, see what they do. And we go from there. So so they're bringing in 2 supports, Reviver, good choice with the Pythion to counter on Affinity, but bringing in a Sifi may counter. So I'm going to bring in a Sifi to counter their Sifi. And I'm probably going to bring in a Romantu for the cleansing as well as the block passives. Okay, so 2 damage dealers here. We got a speed with bombs, and then we have someone with fear. So I'm going to guess their last one might be Arbiter. So that's what I'm going to do. And then this is where a speed lead damage dealer. My Fushan is built for Arena. Let's do that. So I'm only going in on this one with 1 damage dealer. But I know my between Romantu and... one of these 2 are coming out. Let's pull them. Okay. So we should be okay here. They're going to pick Shazar as that. Oh, they're going resist, not speed. Interesting. So I wonder if that Sifi is super fast. At which point, because why would you go with a Sifi lead other than the resist? No, look at this. My whole team's going to be able to go before theirs. Okay, so let's clear a Sifi. Let's clear their Reviver. If we don't fail, we did. Okay, we'll put him to sleep. This one's block active skills, so I don't have to worry about the bombs coming out. This one's slept, so I don't need to worry about waking up and cleansing. She's relatively new. I actually haven't really looked into her. I do know she puts an increased resist buff up. There it is, which is going to be difficult, but let's see. He's still blocked. Let's put her to sleep. Let's try to get rid of him. There we go. And this is why I wasn't too worried if they picked my 1 and only damage dealer, because I know that Romantu does hit quite hard. And there we go. They left the battle. Okay. That works. So there's our 5 matches. So We do have a log similar to before. They actually tell you, hey, this person was a chicken and decided to leave. You do have rankings, and as you get up to ranking, so once you get into gold, every champion pick must be unique. So you can't go in with like two of the same champion. Bring your two Rotosos in and let them, if they pick one of the two, you still got the same one as the damage dealer. So you can only pick the same champion. You can't bring, three Sifis to the match. Leaderboard's the same. And then your battles at this point, we're done. So we're done for the day. We only get the 10 battles. You can buy more if you want to use gems, which I might later. But again, milestones wise, so far they look cumulative. So as you get to higher ranks, you can get these shards for Quintus. So Quintus, the Triumph attack-based champion, puts an extra hit if they have no buffs. And if this attack is a critical, repeats the attack once. So attacks once, gets a second hit if you strip all their buffs and they have nothing. And then if you're critting, so you build them with 100% crit rate, does it all over again. So you potentially could get 4 hits out of this, if I'm reading this correctly, which is pretty darn good. A2 is the remove all buffs, then puts an decreased defense on them for 2 turns before attacking. Very similar to Ragash, putting out the decreased defense before the nuke. This one is, this cannot be resisted, which is good. And then the damage inflicted cannot be decreased by enemy passive or masteries, except for bosses. Damage inflicted by the still cannot be increased either by masteries or passive, except for bosses. Resets the cooldown. So this is interesting. We can't increase the damage of this skill by any skill increasing passives or masteries. So things like Gerptuk's passive, which increases damage when you have poisons on yourself, or Bad Alcazar increases damage when the enemy has poisons, that sort of thing. And then masteries, you have increased damage on hit. So that will just depend on which masteries you take. Increase attack would still work to increase the damage. And then this one attacks all enemies, puts an increased attack and crit damage for 3 turns before attacking, and then resets the A2 if this attack kills somebody. So again, by default, you have 30% more attack and 50% more attack, 30% more crit damage when nuking. And then the passive, each of this champion's skills deal additional pure damage. The amount of pure damage is dealt to 10% of the target's max HP for each buff on them. The additional pure damage dealt will ignore shield buffs. So amazing for Arena. If you think about it, we have a couple of we have some AoE hits here, actually one AoE hit, and then some single target nukes. But on a Go Second team in Stone Skin, this dude comes up, they fully buff, and you just go ahead and nuke them hard with this skill, which is an AoE hit, which is doing the pure damage based on the number of buffs on them. Typically, we're going to get, 4 or 5 buffs, probably at the most. I doubt you're going to get any more than that. So you're looking at anywhere from 30 to 50% more damage based on their max HP. If you're getting, attack-based nukers, their HP is going to be relatively low. So that is the champion. And then this isn't open yet, your arena bonuses, but you get the bonus arena bonuses from live that you would get as your regular Great Halls. So that's hopefully it. I mean, it is what it is. Some people were saying they hate it. Some people said they love it. So far, I think it's pretty fun. You win some, you lose some. I think it's much more of a challenge. It's not hard. It's not like they got to worry about AI. The one thing I think you can worry about is if you're a lower power account facing a higher power account, like the one I did, right? Where it was an easy win. Which one was it? This one? it was a one-shot nuke. You know, poor guy over here, didn't stand a chance with the champions, or they didn't really care. I mean, not clanned, probably just throwing random stuff together and seeing what happens. So I think the matchmaking system's going to have to be looked at. Some of these people that I faced had a lot more. So clearly, something clan tournament wise, something's up with these champions. But hey, it's cool. I'm going to go ahead and, although it doesn't matter, I want to still play around to see different strategies, what the best option is, who do you start with, how do you counter, what champions can do what, and then go from there. To be honest, it's something different. There's not much going on in the game. Anyways, hopefully that helps. We'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.